net law, and thank you for joining us for Basic Associate Training. I want to talk to you about the steps to register as a net law associate and to talk to you about the importance of estate planning. So we're going to walk through some very important material today. First off, let's talk about net law. What is net law? For those of you who are not familiar with our company or the history of our company, let me share with you how we began. We started as a law firm, Hargrove Madden, located in Louisville, Kentucky and Lexington, Kentucky. Hargrove Madden is an estate planning law firm. That's all they do, and Hargrove Madden is still in existence today. But as a private practice law firm, I was with the law firm prior to the creation of net law, but as a private practice firm, we were struggling to find a way to more efficiently serve the needs of our clients. Much like you guys have clients all across the country, so did we. And most of our clients come to us through financial services providers. You know, those professionals refer clients to us for planning. And we were really struggling to find an efficient way to work with those clients, to deliver those legal services, and to communicate and collaborate with the advisors on the planning for that client in a true team spirit manner. So we actually created this technology ourselves as a law firm and really didn't think that we would ever do anything more with it other than use it in our private practice. However, in 2012, the American Bar Association recognized our law firm and awarded us their James Keene Award for Excellence in E-Lawyering. And that is simply the online delivery of legal services. So they took a look at what we were doing on a 50-state model, on a state-specific model, a client confidentiality model, and at least at that time said that we had the best online delivery of legal services of any law firm anywhere in the country, and that's across all disciplines. So we were very excited about that, and that got us to thinking about how can we make this even better? How can we make this a more powerful tool for our advisors that we work with and for the clients that we serve? So we decided to take that intellectual property and move it into a separate non-lawyer company, a technology company now known as NetLaw. So again, NetLaw is not a law firm. It is a technology company. As you may know, lawyers and non-lawyers cannot share fees. Since NetLaw is, again, not a law firm and we're not lawyers within the NetLaw company, we can share fees, so that when you sell a net law plan, we can actually pay you a commission on the sale of that plan. So let's talk a little bit more about that. What do you get with the net law plan? This is our premium estate planning package that you all are offering to your clients, and this package retails for $1,000. However, through WFG, your clients get the exclusive pricing of $500 for this package. The package includes a last will and testament, a probate, avoidance, revocable living trust, and I'll talk about the living trust in a more detailed manner here in a few moments. It also includes financial powers of attorney, your medical powers of attorney, living wills or advance directives, and HIPAA authorizations. I want to note that if your client is married, the client's spouse can create the same set of documents at no additional cost, all using one plan. So one plan covers both husband and wife, and it's $500. So let's talk about the fees. We get lots of questions about fees. So I wanted to take the opportunity to go into a little more detail about this. As mentioned, the plan is $500, and that gives your client and the client's spouse full access, unrestricted access to their account for the first 12 months. And what that means is during that first 12 months, they have unlimited changes to those documents. So they can create their documents, and if they are transferred to a new state with their job 2 months later, they can go right back into their account, update their state of residency, and generate new documents specific to their new state at no additional cost. Perhaps that client has a new baby, and they want to add that child to their estate plan. Again, they can go right in, add the child to their documents, create trust for that child, all at no cost to the client. It also includes unlimited document storage and what we call our Life Vault. I'll talk about the Life Vault a bit more as we go along, but that is a secure, encrypted, cloud-based storage, like a safe deposit box in the sky, and they can store all of their documents that they create with NetLaw. Once they're signed, they can scan those signed copies and load them into their vault, along with anything else that they want to keep kind of stored in one place that they can access anywhere, anytime, 24 hours a day with internet access. So what happens after the first 12 months? If your clients want to continue to have the ability to make unlimited changes to their documents, if they want to continue to have the ability to store documents into their cloud vault, unlimited documents, then the fee goes to $8 a month beginning in month 13. Now, I do want to emphasize this is an optional fee. We get lots and lots of questions about the $8 a month. And don't get too hung up on that $8 a month fee. I would really focus on the value that your clients are getting for that $8 a month. And again, it is optional. This is something that the client does not have to continue. They have the ability to actually turn off that automatic renewal from within their account. That's at the client's complete control. So if the client does not want to continue that service, that's no problem. They can certainly let us know or disable that feature within their account. But however, after that 12th month, if they do not continue their account, they no longer have the ability to make changes to their documents or to add new documents to the vault. They will always have access to what is currently in their vault when their account is inactivated, but they just can't add anything new, and they can't make any changes to their estate planning documents. So the next question we typically get is, what happens if, a year later, the client hasn't been paying the $8 a month, but they want to make a change? What happens then? Do they have to pay another $500? And the answer to that question is no. We do have a reinstatement policy that we kind of stair-step for the client. So if it's been within 60 days after their account has gone inactive, they can reinstate that account at no charge at all. There's no cost to do that within the first 60 days. All kinds of things can happen. Their credit card could expire and they forgot to update their account information or what have you. So we don't penalize them if it's been within the first 60 days. From 3 months to 6 months, it is a $79 reinstatement fee. And then if they want to continue the account, they just pick up the $8 a month thereafter to keep their account active. If it's been over 6 months, it is a $250 reinstatement fee. And again, if they want to keep the account active from that point forward, they just start paying the $8 a month that following month. This is something, again, that is completely at the discretion and the option of the client. One of the things or the examples or illustrations I typically give when I'm talking to advisors about this fee, because again, we get lots of questions and comments about the $8 fee. Sometimes we get questions about, so, my clients are really young. Are they going to have to pay $8 a month for the rest of their life? Well, they can. They certainly can. But I want to put it into perspective for you and for the client. This package that your clients are purchasing through NetLaw that you're offering them, in most law firms, so example, in the law firm of Hargrove Madden where we created this technology, the same package would cost about $3,500. So if your clients are paying $8 a month, it would take them over 30 years to equal $3,500. Actually, it would take them over 35 years to equal that amount. So, kind of put that in perspective for the client. It's really a very useful tool for them. And as their life changes, as they have new babies and grandchildren, or they move, or they retire, or they have a death in the family, all kinds of things, this is going to be a really easy tool for them to update their documents as life happens. So let's talk about that a little bit more. Life events. With NetLaw, we really don't focus on estate planning, the words estate planning. We don't talk about estate planning necessarily or wills and trust. Instead, we talk to clients about life events, things that resonate with clients regardless of who you are, regardless of whether you're married, regardless of how much money you have. These are things that happen within the lives of everyone. It touches everyone. And I encourage you to do the same, because these life events represent an opportunity for you to serve those clients and to help them with critical needs, and quite possibly open up other services and products that you can provide to those clients just through the process of helping them with these life events. And here are some that we've identified that we talk about at NetLaw, and I'll go into some of those in detail as we go forward. But clearly, a change in marital status is a need to update your estate planning documents. If it's a marriage, a divorce, or even a death in the family, that's going to be an opportunity for you to sit down with that client, help them review their beneficiary designations, help them with the net law plan to get that in place so that their estate planning coordinates with their beneficiary designations as their life events have occurred. I've talked about, the birth or adoption of a child. You really need to encourage your clients to update their documents to include that child in their last will and testament and their trust. If they move to a new state, every state has their own very specific laws with regard to estate planning, and in particular, the health care documents. Those are very, very state specific. So if your clients are moving to or from a different state, you want to make sure that they're aware of those changes and the need to update their documents. So let's just move forward a little bit more. Why is estate planning important? Let's talk about wills. Everyone seems to have the impression that they don't need a will because they're not wealthy, or they're married, so their spouse is going to get everything anyway, so, why create a will? Or they've already told their friends and family members what they want them to have upon their death, and everybody knows, so there's no reason to create a will. Well, that's absolutely wrong. That is very inaccurate, and your clients are putting themselves and their families at risk. One of the things that I tell clients is, if you do not have a will, your state has one for you, and it is called intestacy law. Every state has that. And basically, the law states what happens when you die without a will, who gets your assets, and it is according to state law, and more than likely, it's not going to be the way your clients intended their assets to be passed. So it's very, very important that if they feel strongly about who gets certain pieces of their assets upon their death, they really need to set those out in a last will and testament. Another reason to create a will is if your clients have minor children that are under the age of 18, because this is the legal document that is recognized by courts where your clients will name a guardian for that child. Without naming a guardian in their will, they're really putting the future of that child at risk. They're not letting anyone know who they want to take care of that child. And a judge doesn't know. And guess what? It's going to be a judge that makes that decision. So oftentimes you have family members fighting over the custody of that child. And, you've got husband's side of the family fighting, saying that, no, my son wanted me to have her. And then the wife's side of the family saying, no, my daughter wanted me to have her. And the judge doesn't know. So it's super easy to avoid that entire situation just by naming a guardian in your last will and testament. In some of the most extreme cases, these children can even be placed in foster care until the guardianship can be worked out with the courts. And that's something that nobody even wants to think about or have to go through. So encourage your clients to make sure that they have that in place, especially if they have minor children. So let's talk about avoiding probate. I mentioned when we were going over what's included in the net law package that our package includes a probate avoidance revocable living trust. And that is exactly what it says, exactly what it means. This is a trust for the purpose of avoiding probate. In some states, probate can be very, very burdensome. It can be very time-consuming and very costly. Some states have statutory probate fees that are based on a percentage of the assets held within the estate. So this is a way that you can help your clients save money, save time, and save the burden on their family of having to go through this process. I also want to mention that probate is a public process. It is the court-supervised process of administering the estate, distributing assets, paying final debts and expenses. And the reason I say this is public is because anyone can go down to the courthouse and pull your client's estate file and look at everything in the file. They can look at all of the assets that the client owned, what they're valued at, and how they're being distributed and to who. For those clients that are very private in nature, or maybe they live in small communities, or they just don't want to take the risk of having their nosy neighbors or people they go to church with, or their ex-husbands or ex-wives or in-laws having the ability to go down and pull their file and see everything that they have and what it's valued at and where it's going, this is a good way to keep that information private. By using a probate avoidance revocable living trust and taking your individually owned assets and retitling them into the name of your trust during your lifetime, those assets are not subject to probate, and they pass automatically according to the terms of the trust. So again, the trust is private, that is kept private, whereas the probate process is not. That's a very public process. This is also a great way to maybe help older clients plan for disability. If you have your assets already titled in the name of your trust and your client becomes incapacitated or disabled for whatever reason in the future, the family members do not have to go to guardianship court and be appointed as guardian to then take care of the finances for that client. The successor trustee is already named within the trust, and they can step right into the shoes and start paying bills and making distributions and carrying on for that client just as they would for themselves. So this is a wonderful, wonderful tool for your clients, and it is part of the net law package. Medical decisions. The healthcare power of attorney, in some states it's referred to as a healthcare surrogate. In some states it's combined with other provisions for advance directives. These are very state specific, so however these documents are referred to in your state is how they will be created when your client goes through the net law process. But the medical power of attorney is the document that a client would name someone to make medical decisions for the client if the client could not do so for himself or herself. So this is a situation where your client cannot speak or communicate for themselves for whatever reason, and they need someone to consent to treatment or to move them to a better facility for more specialized care. Those types of decisions are the decisions that are controlled by the medical power of attorney. I always tell clients that I can guarantee that most people know who they would want to make medical decisions for them if they couldn't do so. And if you can't think of that person right off the top of your head, I'm pretty sure you can think of who you would not want to make those decisions for you if you couldn't make them for yourself, and that usually gets their attention. So make sure that your clients know that if that's important for someone that they love and that they trust to make decisions for them, if they're not able to do so, they need to make that known in a medical power of attorney. Because again, without that, a judge is making that decision. And a judge doesn't know that you don't want your brother making those healthcare decisions, and that instead you want it to be your sister or your mother. So make sure that those decisions are known. So let's talk a little bit more about what your clients get. We do have a network of estate planning attorneys and elder law attorneys that are available to assist your clients if they need extra help. Now, keep in mind that your clients can complete every single one of these documents entirely on their own without the assistance of a lawyer. If they have an unusual situation, maybe they have a special needs child, or they're a business owner and they need to talk about more advanced business succession planning, or perhaps they're very wealthy and they need to talk about tax planning, they can connect with one of our network attorneys for that additional assistance and services. If they do so, there is a fee that is charged, and that fee is at the discretion of the attorney that they connect with. We cannot control or dictate the fees that our attorneys charge clients. What we can do is make sure that they are available for the client if they need additional services. So keep in mind, if your clients need that extra help, they can connect with an attorney through our network, but there is a separate fee for that that goes straight to the lawyer. That does not come back to net law, and you cannot share in that fee either. Keeping in mind, again, that lawyers and non-lawyers cannot share in fees. So let's talk a little bit about the Life Vault. We mentioned that earlier, and that is that secure encrypted environment where your clients can store all of their estate planning documents. So once their documents have been properly signed, they can scan those signed copies and store them in their Life Vault, along with tax returns and deeds and insurance policies and birth certificates, marriage licenses, passports, anything that they want to keep in one safe place that they can access anywhere with internet access. This is a great tool for the advisor as well. This is really a fact-finding tool for you guys, and this is how that works. And some of the advisors that we've worked with, what they're doing is they're offering to help the client scan these documents and place them in the vault. So if you've sold the net law plan and you have an office where you've got a notary and some people available to witness documents, you might offer that the client come and meet with you in the office and help them get those documents signed, and then offer to scan them and put them in the vault for the client. And while the client's there, you might encourage them to bring in anything else that they may want to store in their vault, like their life insurance policies and their brokerage statements and their IRA statements and the deeds to their home and their tax returns and anything like that. Because then what you have is the client coming to you with a box of very valuable information, and you're helping them. You're just providing a service. You're helping them to get that information into their vault. And while you're at it, you've got first-hand access to very important information that may lead to other products and services that you can provide. So if they do bring old life insurance policies in, it's a great opportunity for you to offer to give them an analysis, a free review of their insurance, to make sure they're not paying too much, or to make sure that those policies are performing the way they thought they would. Maybe they're bringing in IRA statements, and you see that there's some old IRAs and 401ks from previous jobs that you can offer to roll over and consolidate into one account so that they have true diversification. There's all kinds of very useful information within those types of documents that will lead to other products and services that you can provide. So really think of this Life Vault as a wonderful tool for you guys and for your clients. So, at the end of the day, really what you're doing is you're providing peace of mind for the client, regardless of what service you are providing, whether it's retirement planning, or whether that is helping them with their insurance or helping them get their estate planning in place. That's something that you're helping them with, and you're really going to be positioning yourself as a key advisor to that client and to the client's family. So let's talk about how you get started. For those of you who have not already done so, your next step should be to download the NetLaw mobile app. Go to your App Store or your Google Play Store and look for NetLaw, N-E-T-L-A-W. It is one word. It should be the very first result that comes up. It'll say 6th step. From there, it is a free download, and it takes just a minute to do so. At that point, the very first thing you want to do is click on Create an Account. You'll see that right below the green sign-in button on the screen over to your left. So that's the very first thing you want to do, because you need to register yourself with NetLaw so that we know who to pay when you make a sale. So there's some very simple fields there that you'll need to complete. Your email address. You'll need to create a password for yourself, and that password does need to be at least 8 characters long. It needs to have at least 1 capital letter and at least 1 number, and that can be in any sequence that you like. The next field here is your Senior Marketing Director's email. If you do not know your SMD's email, just put your own email address again in that field. The next button there is a little checkbox where you can check if your recruiter and your SMD are the same person. If you're not sure, just click that box anyway, and then you won't have to complete any of the other fields. Then click Create My Account. Once you do that, you have your home screen that you see here over to the right. And I would encourage you to keep that open at all times. You never need to log out of your app, and I would actually encourage you to not do so. We get a lot of calls from advisors that can't remember their password or even their username, and that can be a little complicated. When you're standing in front of a client and you're trying to make a sale and you can't figure out how to get logged back into your app. There's absolutely no information from this app that anybody could gather from you by leaving it open. There's no private information about you or your clients that are stored on this app. So there's no reason for you to ever log out of it. From there, you have 2 simple buttons on your home screen, Register Client or Product Information. Let me first talk about product information. So if you're talking to a prospect or to a client about the NetLaw plan and they want a little more information, just click the Product Information button. And from here, you can actually click on each document, and it will tell the client a little bit more about that document and what it does. Just give them some more information. You can even turn your device around and hand that to the client and let them scroll through that on their own. Once the client is ready to move forward, click the Register Client button, and you'll see that 4 very simple fields come up. The client's email address, first name, last name, phone number. You check the little checkbox to agree to terms and conditions, and then click Register Client. From there, we give the client the payment terms. It is a $500 plan, as mentioned, and we let them either pay that all at one time, or they can finance that over 12 months if they want to at $50 a month. Now, they do pay a little bit more for that financed option, but then we pay you more as well. We send 50% of every dollar that we collect on the plans that you sell, that goes to your grid, and we send that every Thursday. So if it's a $50 a month plan, every month we're going to send $25 to your grid. If they pay $500 up front, then that following Thursday, we're going to send $250 via wire transfer down to the commissions department in Atlanta. So once they're ready to move forward and you've registered them and they've selected their payment terms, then you can actually collect payment right from your mobile device. We do gather credit card information on this app. Again, nothing is ever stored on the mobile device. Nothing is stored at NetLaw. We do not collect credit card information at NetLaw. So all of that is kept secure and is never accessible through the app or through the system itself. When you click Submit, you get a success screen. That is your indication that everything has gone through our system properly. I do want to point out there is one last option here for the client. Underneath the green Submit button, you'll see the words Pay Later. We do give one last option for the client. So if they are hesitant for whatever reason, maybe they need to talk to their husband or their wife about this first, or they weren't really expecting this expense at this time, or for whatever reason, you can't get them to commit to making the payment at that time, you can click Pay Later. And I encourage you to at least get them through that process and get them to commit to paying later or to clicking that button at least so that they're registered within our system. And basically what that means is if at any time in the future they decide to go in and pay for the account, pay for the plan, you get that commission, even if it's been 6 months later, a year later. So it's vitally important that you at least get them to this point, get them to commit to making a payment or to clicking Pay Later. Once either of those options have been chosen, we send them an email that looks very much like this, that has a link within the email that they can click on, and that will take them into our system where they can create a username and password for themselves. And then we take them right through the process of creating their documents. We lead them through something that we call the Getting Started process. And it's really, really important that your clients actually go through that process and complete the Getting Started process, because that will make the process of creating their documents as they get into each legal document a little bit easier. Everything that we collect within the Getting Started process will populate in different fields as they're creating the different documents, and will make it a much faster and efficient process as they get into each document. So you can see here in the Getting Started process, we ask information about the client's family, and about key people. I'm going to point that out to you right here. And I'll talk a little bit more about key people in a moment and why that's important and how we use those key people to not only create the documents for the client, but to also promote you as an advisor. We also ask for information about the client's assets, life insurance policies, retirement planning, different product-related questions. And I'll talk to you about those a bit more as well. So let's focus here on the key people. You know, these are individuals that are going to play an important role within the client's estate plan in different capacities. So these are the people that are going to be named as executor, as successor executor, power of attorney, successor power of attorney, healthcare agents, successor agents, guardians and successor guardians, etc. You know, most people name within their documents anywhere from 4 to 8 people. And what we do with those individuals as we're gathering their information, we're also going to ask for their email addresses. And we're going to talk to the client about these key people. So looking at this map here, I want to kind of visually illustrate how this works. So right here in the middle, we have Sally. And Sally is a client that has just purchased a plan from John. And here's John. He's the WFG associate. So John has sold her this plan. She received her email from NetLaw that had the link in it. And through the Getting Started process, we gathered information about her family and her friends, all of the key people in her life that are going to play certain roles within her documents. And let's say that over here, her brother Rick, she named him as executor. And she named her other brother John over here as successor executor. She named her sister Paige over here as guardian, and her sister Tina as successor guardian. And she named her uncle over here as power of attorney, named her aunt as successor power of attorney, and so on and so forth. So she's named all of these people within her documents. So we're then going to ask her, would you like to share this opportunity with your friends and family and give them the same opportunity to create these documents to protect themselves and protect their families, just like John gave you when he sold you this plan? If she says yes, then we're going to send that same email to each of her key people, just like she received, that's going to have the link in it that they can go into NetLaw and purchase their plan, just like she did. And if any one of those key people purchases the plan, then John, her advisor, he makes $250 that goes to his grid for any plan that is sold from any of these key people, friends and family of Sally's. So let's say that Sister Paige here, she bought this plan. So John is going to get $250 to his grid for that plan. And then Paige, she's going to be naming people in her documents as well. So she's going to name, friends and relatives and maybe people she goes to church with in different capacities within her document. And it may be some of the same people that Sally named. And so we're going to send each of those individuals an invitation. If any of those individuals buys a plan, then the advisor, John, gets $250 to his grid for those sales. We also ask each of these individuals certain product-related questions. So we'll ask about life insurance. Do you or your spouse have life insurance? If so, would you like a free review of that insurance to make sure you're not paying too much? We ask about long-term care insurance. We ask about retirement planning. We ask if the client has young children, do you feel that you're adequately prepared to fund your child's education? Would you like some assistance with that? If any of those individuals say yes, they would like more information, or yes, they would like that free analysis or assistance, then we're going to send John, the advisor here, we're going to send him an email with that client's information saying this client wants you to reach out to them to talk about retirement planning or to talk about life insurance or to talk about long-term care. So now John may never have met Sally's sister Paige or her cousin Susie, but now he's getting emails that he needs to reach out to them about a particular need, and he's getting the commission on the sale of that product. So I just wanted to illustrate to you how NetLaw works and how we really try to help the advisor build out a national network of product-related, product-using clients. This is also a great way to build generational relationships with your clients' families. I know you guys are working really hard for your client. You're really trying to help them grow their assets and protect those assets. But what happens when that client passes away and those assets are distributed to family members? Do you have a relationship with those family members? If not, this is a really good way to start that process and to secure a relationship with generations to come. So I hope that makes sense to you all. And let's go back into the SMART Guide where the client creates these documents. I mentioned that it's very important for your clients to go through the entire getting started process before they jump right into making or creating their documents, and this is why. So right here you can see that the client is creating the last will and testament, and down here we have this little drop-down menu. And this is where we list all of those individuals that they've named during the getting started process. So from that point, it's just a simple point and click to name different people in different capacities for each document, for a specific bequest, or whatever the client's trying to accomplish throughout their document. If they have not done that yet, there will be nobody on the drop-down list, and they can't type someone directly into that drop-down list. They have to go back in and go back into the key people and name those people there, or go into my information if it's children. So very important that your clients know that they need to complete that getting started process. I also want to point out that we have different help options for the client as they go through the process of creating their documents. You see here that the client is creating their will, and right here we're asking about executors. Who do they want to name as an executor in their last will and testament? Over here to the right under helpful tips, we're actually giving them information on what is an executor, what happens if I name more than one executor, etc. They can also click on our help screen here, and that'll take them to a very robust FAQ section where they can find all kinds of information and questions and answers. Also, if we have an operator online there will be a live chat button down here that they can click on and actually talk in real time via live chat with somebody within our office. This is what the vault looks like, and this is what I was talking about before. This is where your clients can store their information, their signed documents, and other important documents within this secure encrypted environment. It's super, super easy to organize this information just by creating folders and titling them however they want to title them, and then uploading the file into the specific folders. Super easy to use. This is how your clients can access our network of attorneys. It does default to their state of residency. So they would then just take a look at the attorneys. They can view their profiles and see if whether or not the client, or the attorney rather, offers flat fee services, if they publish hourly rates, do they have free consultations, etc. And then the client can choose which attorney they want to connect with. Keep in mind that NetLaw is not a lawyer referral service. So we're not referring the client to a particular attorney. We're just giving them access to our network so that they can choose which attorney they want to connect with if they need that extra help. So guys, I thank you for joining me on this webinar. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or need to speak with us, please reach out to us. Our support number is right here on the screen. I would also encourage you to go to the website, thenetlawinc.com/step6. That is your page. That's where we put all kinds of information for WFG Associates, and I think you'll find it very useful. That's also where you can access the information for upcoming webinars or even past webinars and marketing materials. So I thank you all for joining us, and please reach out to us at any time. Thank you.